What's up guys, it's Nex from Gamer Theories with your breakdown and analysis for episode 6 Beyond the Wall. There has been so much divide caused by this episode, people hating on it, people loving it, and others who just want to pick at all of the plausible impossibilities whilst ignoring the fact that we're watching a show with dragons, White Walkers, and people being resurrected. For me, I'd rather just enjoy what we have whilst we have it. Alright, so speaking of a divided audience, let's start off with the scenes at Winterfell and the little sister Stark Bowl that we've got going on there. It's interesting to see so many people with different perspectives of what they think is going on in this situation. You've got some people who think Sansa is in danger from Arya, some people think it's the other way around, and there are even a few who think the Stark girls are playing Baelish at his own games. I think it's actually a little bit of all three. In their first confrontation after Arya finds the scroll, of course Arya has every right to be angry at Sansa. She did cooperate with the Lannisters back in season 1, and reading that scroll would have surfaced a lot of bitter memories. And while Sansa might not have had much choice in the matter, Arya's retort is spot on. Lyanna Mormont is younger than Sansa was at that time, and she wouldn't have been using her age as an excuse. Sansa was so worried about the repercussions of it that she oddly confided in Petyr Baelish, the man she's constantly saying only a fool would trust, and their conversation is extremely important. To start with, Baelish denies knowing how Arya obtained the scroll, which if Sansa finds out otherwise will be his complete undoing. And then he suggests asking Brienne for help to face Arya as she is sworn to protect both the Stark sisters. I'm not sure how people are confusing that Brienne might help Arya. Baelish literally says maybe Brienne can help, and that is in the context of helping to protect Sansa. To quote him again, and if one of you were planning to harm the other in any way, wouldn't she be honor bound to intercede? It's why in the scene between Sansa and Brienne that she orders Brienne to represent her interests at the gathering in King's Landing. It's because she's fighting with several internal demons. On one hand, she is actually tempted to ask Brienne for help. Remember, she knows that Arya is dangerous after their little sparring session. Then, on the other hand, she hates the idea that she needs people there to defend her. Winterfell is her home, she wants to feel like it's the safest place for her. But the real reason behind her decision to send Brienne away is because she genuinely wants to prove that she cares for her family above all else. No matter how much she wants to be a queen or a lady of Winterfell, her family comes first, and that is the meaning behind her speech that we've heard in the trailers that we haven't seen yet. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. In Arya and Sansa's final confrontation, it was confirmation that Arya isn't going to kill Sansa. She would never need an easier opportunity than she had in that moment if she was going to, and Sansa knows that. The real question is, what is Petyr's next move going to be when he sees that his plan to cause the Stark girls to fight isn't working? Will he try and suggest something foolish to Sansa? Once again, his plans are failing. Before I move on to the scenes north of the wall, I just want to briefly touch on the rift between Tyrion and Dany. There is this constant back and forth between them, and it happened again this episode, twice. First, when Tyrion is talking about the successor to the throne before they've even won the throne, and then second, when Dany is leaving to save Jon and the company, and Tyrion tries to get her to do nothing, and she ignores him by snapping that he advised her to do nothing once before, she won't do nothing again. I still can't figure out where they're going with this, but it's not healthy ground for Tyrion. It could be the showrunners opening the door to the possibility that Tyrion could end up betraying Daenerys, but I just think it's a mask. We know that Daenerys is due a third betrayal, and I still think it's going to be either Varys or Daario. Let's finish up with the scenes beyond the wall. You don't need me to tell you how awesome some of the dialogue was and the various bonding sessions between the Dream Team. Instead, I just have one major question I'd love everyone to discuss. Was this entire mission north of the wall as set up by the Night King? I understand that Dan and Dave were desperate to have an undead polar bear, but going back to the context of the story, are we really accepting that this bear just happened to be randomly roaming about the frozen plains on its own, rather than marching with the other undead? And was it really a coincidence that Thoros was one of the men that it managed to kill? Beric's loyal priest, the one who's keeping him alive. To quote the Hound, he's on his last life now. The next thing that was out of place was the world's most convenient ambush, or was this actually a trap? What purpose would one White Walker and less than a dozen whites be doing away from the main camp? If it was a patrol, then I'm pretty sure they could afford to spare a few more whites. Also, when Jon strikes down the White Walker, again, is it really a coincidence that all the whites drop dead except for one? Seems to me like the Night King needed one of them to stay alive to sound the alarm. As soon as the white screams for help, it doesn't take long for the bulk of the forces to descend upon our crew and chase them into the center of this lake, but notice how the moment they breach through the opening, the whites immediately move to circle around Jon and the others, almost as if this is some part of the plan coming together. Not only that, but have we actually seen this location before? When Bran walks into the flock of crows and flies past Eastwatch, this raised area where he sees the Night King looks almost identical to the lake where our guys get stranded. Seems to me like the Night King was in the motion of setting up his trap. And then finally, why on this occasion would the Night King not be wielding his traditional weapon of a curved ice blade, but instead he has with him ice spears? And when Jon and the team are sleeping in the middle, why wouldn't he just launch one of them at our guys for an easy kill? The only time he even makes a move is when the dragons turn up to save the day. And as soon as they do, his lieutenants seem to know exactly what to do, and what the Night King is planning with the spears. If you look at this from the perspective of Jon and Dany, this mission went from striking lucky before ending seriously badly. But if you are the Night King, right from the outset, this went exactly according to plan. He laid the breadcrumbs right from the start, from when Bran saw him past Eastwatch, and Jon ate them up one at a time. And all of it would make perfect sense if the Night King has figured out that the only way he can get past the wall is by taking one of Daenerys' dragons and turning it into an ice dragon. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm dying to hear what you all think. Was this part of the Night King's plan, or did he just look out on a crazy level? What is the extent of the Night King's powers? Can he walk? Does he even have green sight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. 7 blessings to you all, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.